everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Rachel Ray here, and today I have a very special kind of video to make for you. I've been asked a lot recently how to work on a heaven and earth design project, which is what I have here. This is Heaven and Earth Designs Soul of the Rose Max Color from John William Waterhouse. That's the original artist. And as you can see, I'm almost finished with page 1 of this design. I'm working on a 25 count even weave, a Lugana, and I have 125 colors in this piece. I'm going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that I get, but I do want to just quickly say that I am not an expert at this. So if you're interested in starting your own Heaven and Earth design, please look on YouTube, look on the internet, and find some videos to help you out. So, because this has 125 colors, I'm using, you can't see, I'm using floss away bags. So each DMC number has its own baggie. And I am only pulling I'm pulling lengths of thread that are from my fingertips, where I'm holding the thread, to my elbow, and that is the maximum amount that I am using at a time, because this is a full coverage piece and I don't want my thread to get all fuzzy by the end of it. So the shorter the thread you use, the less likely it is to get tangled up. Okay. This is cross stitching 101, but here is a strand of floss. This, at one stage, this had 6 strands. So there would be 6 strands, and then you pull apart the strands at the top, take one, hold one end, and then hold this and pull the single strand out. And as you can see, it balls up like this, and you get one piece that we're going to use. Now I'm working on my piece in tent stitch, which means I'm only doing half of the cross stitch. And honestly, it took me a while to determine whether I wanted to do that or not. I did a swatch test in the upper corner here. That's my little swatch, and I decided to go with tent stitch for this project because it made the most sense for me, and it will save me a lot of floss and a lot of time. I'm going to thread my needle off camera. Sorry about that. And basically I do the loop method, which means I pull both ends through the eye of the needle, leaving a small loop at the end. I find the place where I'm going to stitch, which I'm going to start in this little hole right here. I'm going to hold on to this loop in the back, push it up through, bring it up, holding the thread in the back. I'm going to place it back down the other side, the diagonal. And then I'm going to make sure that my needle goes through the loop in the back, and that secures it completely on the back side. Now, I'm gonna put my needle there and show you how to do this in Pattern Keeper. If you don't know how to use Pattern Keeper, I would highly recommend watching a tutorial on it, because it is in itself a very wonderful application. A wonderful application for cross stitching. So basically I've already got the symbol highlighted that I need, and I'm going to highlight, turns it purple, and then I press OK, and that makes it go away, and then I can move on to the next symbol by moving the cursor, and I can see exactly where we're going, and then highlight. I have a small tutorial on how to do that on my live stream that I did a few weeks ago. I'll make sure to link that down below so that you can have a look at it. But basically, what I'm going to do is just go across this pattern, looking for the symbol, filling in all of the places that I need to fill with this particular color, and then I move the thread to the next page so that I'm ready for when I move on from this page, and then I'll do one page at a time. There are pros and cons to this method. Oh, I did that wrong. Went through the wrong hole. It's okay, just stick it back down and then go back up. It's easy to fix that mistake. Okay, and then I can highlight and move on. So I go back to my pattern, and because this is only a small part of the pattern, I feel confident in showing it to you. Just there, press OK, and then move on. And we do this all over this area until we've completely finished with that color, and then I'll show you how to park. Okay, I've not quite finished with this particular color, but I have gotten to the place where I need to add another thread. There's just not enough here to complete the area. So in order to end this thread, I need to flip over my work, and I'll show you. Move it backwards a little bit so you can see here. There we go. So what I just do here is I run the thread underneath some of the ones here in the back, and that's it. It's really this simple. Then I cut that excess piece and I add it to my orts pile, which is lovingly what I call the ends. Lots of us cross stitchers do. I'm just getting another thread of DMC, flip the work back over and bring it close so that you can see. And then we're going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to let you see the process because I think that's probably something that you would be interested in. Thread your needle. I am a notorious thread licker still. I am still a novice. I do try to practice threading my needles in other ways, but I find that licking is the fastest way for me, and I don't mind because I'm the only person that's touching my fabric. Okay, so we've got a few stitches left, so I'm going to show you what I do here. This is my next stitch. I'm going to bring you in so that you can see it. Ooh, look how close that is. Okay, perfect. I'm going to do a loop start in the front on this particular stitch. And one thing that I have learned, you can watch as many tutorials as you like, but at the end of the day, it's your preferences for things. So you see me start in the top left to go to the bottom right. When I'm working downward on a piece, when I'm working upward, I do the opposite. Depending on whether I'm coming from the left or the right will determine how I go, but the main thing is consistency. You always want the top leg of your stitch to be in the same direction always. So this particular stitch is my bottom stitch when I'm doing a normal cross stitch. And you do get in the groove of it after a little while, but it takes a long time to kind of find your own way, if that makes sense. Highlighting my stitches as I go so that I know where I am to stitch next. I'm going to go up this way. The next. And I absolutely recommend the Easy Count Lugana for Heaven and Earth Designs projects because it's already gridded. Okay, so we are now finished. I'm going to highlight those as well. And now what I'm doing is, let's see if I can share this with you. This is the area that I just stitched on my tablet. And the highlighted stitches are the same color. And do you see the blue diagonal? That is where a thread is parked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right there. I'm going to highlight that stitch. Well, not those stitches. I'm going to highlight that stitch and then I'm going to park it. So let me bring you back out. Where it says more, once you've highlighted, you press more and park the thread in the upper left corner. So you can either do that first or second, it's up to you. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches down on this side. Let's zoom you in. I should have 3 threads parked there already, see? So here's stitch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Then I pull this through and I lay it to the side. So I'll zoom you back out again. And I just lay it in the diagonal here so that it's out of the way. I tuck it underneath the other fabrics and that way it won't be a tangled mess. So let us look again. Oh, and this needle minder, I actually have them in my own Etsy shop, but I'm sure that if you get creative, you could make your own. It's basically 2 magnets, one that is attached on the back side and one on the back of the fabric. It holds that in place and it catches your needle so that you don't lose your needle. Okay, let's pick another color, one that there aren't many stitches of. Perfect. There are 6 stitches here and I can park it. The number is 3787. So I go to my ring, look for the color, 3780. Is it? 3787. Yeah, there it is. Another green color, of course. And your system of storing floss and things may be different than my own. It's perfectly fine. It's all about what works for you and your own stitching needs. So there we go. I've got a piece of floss there. Just 1 strand that I'm going to double over. If you don't like the loop method, you could pull 2 strands and put them together and then anchor them in the back. But I prefer the loop method whenever possible because it is really strong, obviously. And it means that there are less knots and, you know, bumps on the back. Never not. Okay, so I'm starting right here. So let's zoom in a little bit. Perfect. So sometimes you can start on the front. When there are stitches all around, I prefer to start on the back, but this should be fine. And then pull it through the bottom stitch to hide that. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go over here. 1. Then we're going to skip 1. And leave that one open for a different color. Oh, I missed one down here. I'm going to run down here real quick. Not this one, but this one. Yep. And you know what? It's fine. I'm not worried about wasting floss because this is a heaven and art design. It's too big to worry about that sort of thing. And then there's actually one right here as well. Right here. Can you see? Yeah, right here. And then I'm going to bring up this color back up to the corner again. This last corner here. And then I'm going to highlight while it's still there sitting in the fabric. Highlight all the stitches that I just completed and check them off, and then go looking for where to park. So let me take you out again. That is there where the needle is right now, and that's where I need to park. So this is the division line of the page. This is the start of the new block. So it's 5 stitches over on the new block, and I'm going to again highlight that stitch and then park it in the upper left corner like I always do. The only reason that I would park in a different corner, and I've put this in my brain, but it's good to remember, the only reason you would park in a different corner is if there's some other issue going on. But there is no other issue. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. And then I just pull that off to the side, just like I did with the other ones. And again, on the back, it's going to look like this, where the threads are carrying over, but eventually those threads are going to get covered up by more crosses. So once you start working on that second page, it will actually cover them up, but it's just important to keep them off to the side and, you know, not being roughed up by any other you know, fabrics or anything like that. So you have to be really, really careful when you're taking this in and out of the Q-snap, the frame that I've got it on, or if you're, you know, moving this around or putting it into different bags and such. It's just super important to be careful with that. All right, we'll do one more and then I will let you go. And then if you have more questions, you can just leave them down in the video and I will try to answer them to the best I can. So let's say that you only have a color with only one symbol. Let's see if I have any of those. I think this is one right here. 3346. So as you can tell, I hope you can tell, it does take a really long time to do a heaven and earth design, especially a max color, because the max color, you're switching colors all the time. There might be just one color, one cross on one page, and that's it. So the amount of time that it takes to grab your floss, open the bag, measure the length, separate the strands, and then start a new needle takes some time. There are people out there who thread every color with a different needle. That's pretty smart, but I think I'd lose them. I lose them all the time. But the important thing that I really want to drive home in this video is that, honestly, guys, it doesn't matter how you do it. It's whatever feels right to you. If you want to do full cross, then do full cross. If you are like me and you want to get it done in your lifetime, then maybe do half cross. I'm only kidding. There are lots of people out there who are amazing at cross stitching and they get them done super fast. Okay, so I'm pulling my threads over to the side. I'm highlighting that I finished that stitch, and then I'm going to the right and seeing where to park, and I need to park in the second hole on the second page. 1, 2, and it goes right there. And that's it, guys. That is how I'm working my heaven and earth design. I'm gonna have to wrap up this video because Luna's getting very antsy, as you could probably hear, but I hope this has helped you to see how I am doing my heaven and earth design project. And like I said, if you have any questions or if you want a follow-up or a specific question, please leave that down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help and to answer any questions you might have or demonstrate something in the future. I know that this is a rough and ready video. I'd like to make one that's a little more proper, but thank you for all of your support and your kind words. I really appreciate it. Happy stitching and crafting, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.